It just has to fit in the composition that you're pulling. So coming out of bans, JDG actually didn't opt into leaving open one of Forge's picks and banning out the Zeri. They did leave open the Swain, but to take away the Wukong. So Betty will get his hands on the Zeri. JDG look like they might go with the trade that we expected AL to go for in game one. And then, honestly, probably kicking themselves for the fact that they didn't.
Yeah, getting the Yuumi on top of the Zeri is a very, very significant thing. Not that they needed it on the side of JDG, but Sivir Yuumi might be the pickup here now for JDG. Is hope after all smiles on the JDG side of camp. There's JDG look to try and make this one a little bit more interesting. Honestly, I wouldn't even be surprised if they look towards getting a mid laner locked in. I think Yagao has been exceptional on different picks throughout the entire split. I think Ahri has been one of the big moments here where he's just able to make things work. You know, similar to Rookie, which we saw earlier today. If you know how to use this champion, she looks busted.
Yeah, and for now, right now, hovering the Lulu for the side of AL. I like this, so they decided to go for it. Obviously, we got this matchup pretty much consistently in the actually every game of the last series, right? We don't have Sivir locked in yet for JDG, but having the Zeri Yuumi come on through. And now, I mean, you could look to match mid lane. The Swain was left open. That would be a little rough in my opinion. We've seen it fall out of flavor, but Forge still has gone towards it. And the other thing, which he's hovering now, LeBlanc is one of the go-to Forge picks. Has only played it once this split, but even going back all the way to his days on IG and on IG Young, this is one of the picks he was known for.
Very much so. Am I a robot or are you a robot? That's what I want to know. Am I not a robot? I don't know. You tell me. Am I a robot, Lyric? Not sure if Lyric's still here or not. I'm not sure if I'm still here or not, but I'm going to continue on as if I am because Lyric hasn't been responding to me. I will say my upload has been absolutely tanked, and I'm not quite sure why. Let's wait to see now where everyone kind of goes with the rest of this composition. The Sivir and the Yuumi has been locked in. They're going to be able to kind of push this bot lane priority to themselves and keep themselves going on that particular front. Now, waiting to see where the rest of the bans go. You imagine, yeah, I was going to say jungle bans going to be coming in for JDG as they do have the first pick. And I'm not sure if, again, I'm going to have to try and figure out if you're talking or if I'm talking, because at the moment, neither of us are talking in terms of talking together. So we'll have to wait and see how it ends up all going. But for the moment, Anyone's Legend have an opportunity now to try and maybe set themselves up for success in the jungle. Or maybe in the top lane as well. Yeah, the Poppy being banned away makes a lot of sense to me. But wait to see now where everything kind of goes. And Lyric, are you still gone? Are you with me yet? Not quite sure. We're going to keep going, guys. I am not sure. You know what? I'm going to need to text someone real quick. Yeah, Jordan. Lyric's internet has died. So I'm going to be solo casting this one just for a little brief moment. Thank you. You know what? You know what, chat? This is between us, right? Jordan wanted this to be his solo cast with chat, the viewers of the world. It's now just me and you, all right? He doesn't get it anymore. I get it. That's because the universe has brought us together. I remember when myself and Ox were casting, but it was... I'm not quite sure what production just said because it was incredibly distorted in my ear. I need him to text me via the chat that we use, but... yeah, this is going to be a little bit of a solo cast for the moment. We'll let you guys know once we're able to get Lyric back. We do apologize. But coming back into the game and how everything is all going for ourselves. JDG looking like they're trying to lock in the Zhao, maybe to get themselves some early priority. We do look at the last few bans. The Gangplank being banned away from ZDZ, not letting them have those volatile, early resource intensive picks as the Kennen comes out on the side of Anyone's Legend. So, top lane taking a couple of different hits. And you know what, chat? You tell me who you think. Let me know in the chat who you think. I haven't got it open. I should have it open, but I don't look at Twitch chat while we're casting. Sadly, as much as some of the people do, I don't. But it's a little bit of a. You guys are too smart. You're too big brain. You know. I can't have you just moving me away. I'll just end up copying everything you guys do. We'll wait and see now. Anyone's Legend going to lock in the Trundle this time around. So they're looking for their early priority to take those skirmishing away. And this is a great pick. If you're wondering why the Trundle comes in, not only is he great in ganking into lanes, but if you do ever find yourself in a 1v1 against something like the Zhao, you have got yourself your Q, your chomp down to be able to survive and even honestly turn that fight around with your steroid on your frozen path. So right now, or Frozen Domain, excuse me, Frozen Path, I believe, is the Glacial Path is the Lysandra Claw. But Gwen locked in now for ZDZ. And JDG now looking to try and make this one work for themselves. And What do you want to try and take this one here? The Gnar does make a lot of sense. Have seen the Gnar into the Gwen a hell of a lot of recent days. Does feel like a little bit of a handshake. You do have the early priority as the Gnar, but it's slowly but surely the Gwen does start to take over that matchup as the items start to get picked up. And with the changes to Gwen as well, with the changes in her R, you do end up in a situation where you can just start building full AP. You build straight up raw stats. You start with the Riftmaker, go straight into a Rabadon's Death Cap if you can, and that's where you're starting to see the R's come out here from the side of the Gwen. But both compositions have been locked and loaded, and Jordan Lyric Corby, are you back with me, my brother? I don't know, man. Tagatron has left me and gone to you. He has left me and gone to you and tried to make this one work for him. But are you back? Are you on the? Are you, more importantly, are you sending the signal back to our studio so that the beautiful people at home can hear it?
I hope so, but we're gonna find out together.
We are gonna find out together as we can see
if you're talking to me and like the audience can hear you but not me, I actually find that even funnier.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a one-sided situation where I can hear you and it's like a private thing, you know. It's just me and you, buddy. It's no one else. But good to have you back. As you can see on the screen there, we do have a Trundle in the jungle. Gwen has been picked into the Gnar as well. So we are starting to see a slow transition towards that more standard picks as different things come out. And I was saying into the chat earlier today, they can hear both of us, is what I've been told by production. So thank you for coming back there, Lyric. It is going to be about kind of where the junglers are able to impact again. And again, I think if JDG can get this Xin Zhao going with the Ahri, this is going to be a significant advantage for them to kind of utilize and then accelerate the game once again.
You know, I couldn't have said it better myself. If you want, I could play-by-play this. Here we go.
You can have the first. You can have the first
recall coming out from Chocho. Everyone else standing, staring, waiting patiently on the map. Break it down, Ashin.
Well, the map state's going to stay at a neutral point right now, and you can see here, I'm just going to waffle a lot and pretend that I know a lot of things, and that's how I feel.
Tempo and prio. And
something about item spikes. In fairness, it's always really funny to me how, like, play-by-plays can just like insult, like quote unquote, like insult color casters by saying stuff like that, and you guys could do the 100%. Exact same thing to play-by-plays and be like, oh, loud noises, shouting, like it's always funny to me how like as similar as we are, we still find gripes with each other's moments, I suppose, in the sun. It's always interesting.
We do, but I'll go back to doing my job. But you know, coming out, kind of interesting to see what AL will be able to do, especially in the early game, in my opinion. Having the LeBlanc into the Ahri, we saw what this is able to do earlier on. But Yagao actually coming in, wanting to match the aggression, right? He's actually going the Electrocute this time as compared to like us seeing the Spellbook earlier. But Betty and Chocho also should have the opportunity to trade like we're seeing here and try and generate some prio for themselves as well. But Missing Hope doing a great job.
All for reward. My kingdom for reward, as that ends up saying. But it actually turns into a zombie lord. So interesting to see that they just want to get an auto attack on it before it dies, and they get some vision now in that particular brush. Should Kanavi look to try and get something crazy going for themselves? We see both junglers starting, actually going red into a straight top side. Actually, the Trundle doesn't want to really go towards those multiple, very slow actually on the multi creature camps as such. Doesn't really take them as quickly as he possibly could. Does prefer the single target ones with the chomp down, so not really too surprising to see him take that particular route, but always love to see a little bit of creative pathing with things like a Xin Zhao, because you have so many more opportunities to make things work for you.
And I mean, heck, both junglers still going to end up on the opposite, on the same side of the map, but the fact that Xiaohao already wrapping back down to his Raptors, and both kind of having different pain points, right? For AL being strong in the mid lane, we can see Forge already generating a bit of an advantage. Looks like has a bit of a wave stacked up that Yagao might be able to equalize some of the CS and catch up, but Forge will be able to roam over if they do want to contend for that bot side scuttle. But for JDG, they have Hope and Missing there, so looks like both junglers are going to meet up.
should be crossing paths around this scuttle. They now know the two of them are on that bot side, so the top laners might get a little bit more antsy. I will say that with the changes to the Gnar, he is a lot squishier than he used to be, as Kanavi kind of recognizes the fact that you're a Trundle. And the reason why you take the Trundle into his Zhao is because you know you're just going to be stronger in that 1v1, and especially in the early stages. Yes, the Zhao has got some good skirmishing himself, but it is definitely a decent counter pick. And now Xiaohao recognizing he can double scuttle here, and this is a really nice start here for AL, kind of getting control around the waves, just utilizing the power of the Troll King.
Great by AL. I mean, utilizing that and utilizing their lane pryos. I like that Kanavi didn't waste any time as well, right? He didn't try walking into river and, like, seeing what Xiaohao would do. He assumes that Xiaohao goes for the crab because Xiaohao has that pressure and just gets his Krugs instead.
Well, Kanavi gonna now run into Xiaohao as Pillar of Ice is going to be dropped down. Traffic Cone is there. 369 is in Mega, though, so he's got some pretty decent resistances. So Kanavi feels comfortable to look for that trade as both junglers kind of just mirroring each other across the map, being in the same place at the same time, just trying to see what kind of advantages they can build. Kanavi, though, now got to walk straight into the Trundle again. The Pillar not quite back off of cooldown just yet, as it is a monstrous cooldown, level 1. And it's just going to protect that ward. I like that from Xiaohao, recognizing, look, they probably saw us put down a ward, so we need to make sure that we don't lose that vision so ZDZ can do trades like this.
Yeah, so utilizing that, but Kanavi still sticking around as well. Looks like trying to help 369 get the wave in to get a reset, but with both jugglers just posturing around, doesn't look like it's going to happen at all. And I mean, we look, right? Camp's already starting to come up on like the second rotation for both junglers. But they're not leaving. They're staying.
They're staying, and it's going to be both junglers coming in. 369 trying to drop down a ward, but he's going to be able to hop over the Pillar of Ice. Kanavi has not shown his position. It's going to be key here, but you can see now Kanavi, it's going to take a long time here to try and make something work out, especially with the wave and the position it's in.
And now 369 will be able to get this in and find his own recall. Wave will come back to him, so should be in a good spot once he gets back to lane as well, and can kind of go unperturbed in terms of the 1v1. And now opens up for Kanavi to start setting up around his bot lane again, where we can see Hope and Missing have actually found a pretty decent advantage for themselves just in terms of that 1v1. Get some vision down, clear out your camps, and make sure they can keep abusing this lane.
It's all about about abusing and gaining advantages from there. I do like the Merc Tread start here from 369. Not only does it give you a little bit of extra magic resistance coming up against the LeBlanc and the Gwen, but also the tenacity is very, very nice going up against something like the Trundle with the slows and whatnot. So see what they have to kind of go for here. The Charm lands, and that's going to be Forge losing his Mimic, and that's a pretty big cooldown no longer available to him, and he's got to be a little bit more careful with those trades now in the mid lane.
Not expecting Kanavi to be around mid, which is funny, because Forge in the pregame interview talking about, like, hey, mid-jungle. Mid-jungle is what it's going to be all about. We need to be wary of what's going to happen. But Yagao and Kanavi kind of finding the better so far. They're going to guarantee a bot side scuttle. Again, going to give their bot lane some safety and security to keep pushing, to keep looking for the advantages they were able to find earlier on. We already know no early dragon probably on the table, so waiting for that moment when Herald spawns, about a minute and a half. AL have been keeping up push in topside, and the fact that we've seen Forge winning out some of these trades could open up AL to be able to get it, especially Chocho and Betty are able to roam over, right? Easier for Chocho to roam over as opposed to the Yuumi, because definitely not as safe for Missing to look for those avenues.
I just noticed that when a champion has the Yuumi attached to them, their level box gets like cat ears. I did little things like that. You just never really notice until you start looking at it really intently, and you're just like, huh, they just gave them cat ears, I guess, for whatever reason it was. But we'll see that
As a huge weeb, you should be a big fan.
Yes, but it's still a Yuumi. So, you know, like there's a caveat to it. You know, it's just like Yuumi's in the game, but I don't want to get buttered up by Riot's game design, being like, oh, look, cat ears, ooh, and I'm just like, no woo-woo to you. I can't let this away with this, you know, I can't let this happen.
Yeah, but, Asheen, to pivot the topic randomly, here we are, 8 minutes in the game, and this is nothing like Game 1 so far. This is actually as far away from Game 1 as you can get, and I mean, AL this time around, I mean, if they can go in a mid-game even, they might be looking pretty solid, right? They have the Zeri this time around. We already saw the combo of poke that Zeri plus LeBlanc can do. You add a pillar on top of that to prevent entry from any members of JDG. If they get on like objectives first, this could be quite a terrifying combo.
Absolutely. I think as well, the combination, I love that you kind of bring it up because I think something we always kind of talk about in any kind of league whatsoever is always the mid-jungle combination. It's always something that is brought up as a big, stickler for a lot of different teams, and we always talked about it for LNG specifically of like, oh, Tarzan and Doom be one of the best at one point, mid-jungle combinations we had in the LPL. But, ooh, okay. 369 goes fully engaged down to ZDZ, but he wants to try and clear this wave. He wants to crash it. Xiaohao is here. Xiaohao has the subjugate flash in. No hop available. 369 has no life, and 369 will be first blooded, not hitting that ultimate right at the wrong time. He loses everything.
Yeah, I have to assume just a miss because I don't know why you look just clear out the wave there with your ult, because then Herald's already up, right? Then you're just setting up a potential Herald where you don't have your ult, ZDZ does, and now you can have some aggression.
Have a lot of aggression coming in here. Forge already losing his clone, as we can see a flash away and gets the blast count. Now Xiaohao here, kind of by himself right now, does have a smite available to him in about 2 seconds, should be able to use it to keep himself alive. No, it wasn't quite open time, and that's some great mid-jungle synergy right there between Kanavi and Yagao. That was the point I was trying to come up with.
And right after anyone's legend actually punished JDG for 369 making a mistake, JDG turned it right back around. Yagao with the beautiful charm once Forge tries to jump back in. We'll see it here. AL wanting to commit after winning that fight in the top side. Actually not trying to roam the Gwen over. So it is just a straight up 2v2. A ton of damage coming off onto Forge right away. He's forced to back. And now for Xiaohao left in this precarious situation where he is just by himself. So JDG opted into running him down. I think Forge getting a little bit ahead of himself, trying to save his jungler. It just opens up for a second pick to go over to JDG.
I love the patience there that we saw. Oh, get the exhaust down on top of him, forces the ultimate out. But I do love the patience we saw from Yagao. Still had his flash, kept the last spirit rush for the last second, kind of saying, look, I'm going to wait until I see exactly where the rest of this fight's going to go before I commit to either target. Most Ahris we see in the league will just try and go see red in their eyes and all of a sudden go, right, Forge is super low, I need to go onto him, but he doesn't. He waits to see how the fight's going to pan out. He waits to see who is going to be the actual priority target, and he goes for the exact correct composition, the exact correct setup to make sure he got the most out of it. So really well played from Yagao, and now JDG got themselves an advantage. This is the JDG that is going to be so scary for someone like AL to deal with, because similar to what we saw in game 1, if you give them an inch, they will take a mile. Now Betty, without his ultimate, needs to be very careful. That prowling projectile, the Q is just landing, and he's already down to a quarter of his HP.
And look at where Kanavi's on the map. Kanavi's down here towards the bottom side. Now both junglers might meet up once again. No ultimate on Yagao, so they do need to be a little bit careful if something breaks out, but looks like that one's actually going to be up in only a couple of seconds.
Only a couple of seconds, as Kanavi does end up roaming himself down towards this bot side. Yagao with him in tow.
And they have Herald.
Yeah, they have Herald, and they have a lot of pressure. Remember, they have to get the reset coming out from Betty, like you mentioned, so they're going to be able to push this wave in on bot side, maybe get themselves a little bit more of an advantage. There's no real vision here for anyone selected to try and contest around this dragon. It looks like it's just going to be a free objective available to the side of JDG. And again, this is where it gets problematic for AL. The small stacking of things are starting to build up, and you're starting to get into serious problems.
And I really like this dragon take coming out from JDG, right? Because we've talked about how taking early dragons could be a little bit rougher because it does have more health. But JDG with the vision still started up solo with only Kanavi doing it. And you realize, hey, if anyone steps too far, it isn't too bad for us to move. But 369 might go down.
Yeah, 369 now going to be, again, the punching bag in the top side. AL, they always focus towards the top lane. They like to get ZZ these resources. It's all about how Kanavi can react. It's all about how Kanavi can reset this one, as Betty has full vision on top of him. He will not get caught out just yet. As I say that, though, you got Yagao coming back in. The charm misses, and Betty keeps himself alive. The flash in with the Q. Hope not quite able to make it with a TP coming in from Forge. JDG tried to force it, and AL held their nerve.
Great job by Betty. He was able to dodge out on everything. Like, we can say JDG missed, but at the end of the day, right, Betty still had to move out of the way of these projectiles to be able to escape. So, overall, JDG not able to capitalize on a cross-map play towards the bottom half of the map. And we will get, oh, we're just going to get a replay of literally what we just saw. I thought maybe top side, but goes in, misses the W, is able to get the knockup, but backing out with the turret ramping up. We see Q, doesn't get the second half of the Q, misses the charm. The Q misses from Sivir as well. And Betty, looking like a bit of a stud, just being able to get away scot-free.
Get away scot-free. Well, almost scot-free. Does lose his flash, sadly for him. As you can see that Shelly will get her bonk off in the mid lane. About 100 gold pretty much about across the board there for every single player there. So not going to be too dissatisfied JDG as they aren't actually accelerating this gold lead as quickly as they maybe would like to. And like you said, similar to or dissimilar to game one where we had just action, such a quick and breakneck speed. AL have been pretty good at just surviving the onslaught from JDG, and if they can get the Zeri onto 2-3 items, that's where this game opens up a little bit more for them.
We can already start to see the item advantages come out, you know, in different areas, right? AL been targeting top, ZDZ already being on that Riftmaker, not close to Mythic 4369, but same goes for bot lane. Already Kraken Slayer for Hope. We've Everfrost in mid. No Mythics built on opposing sides for AL mid or bot lane.
We'll see what both sides want to try and prioritize right now. You can see without Forge having no teleport, Yagao is happy to say, look, I'm taking this 1v1 right now. You can see the gold difference here. There's actually a little bit of a gold lead here for Forge as he looks to try and just contest one here. Needs to be careful though. There is a Spirit Rush available. Yeah, you need to get some help right now from Xiaohao. It's Charm there from Yagao just to make sure in case he tried to come back for some XP. He would be caught out and almost certainly killed. But 2 minutes down to the next Dragon, a minute to the next Rift Herald. And this is where the game starts to get a little bit funky here for both sides. You have got the Luden's Tempest finished up here alongside those Sorcerer Shoes for Forge, so he's at a very powerful spike.
In order to be keeping your eyes on Forge, see, you know, if he could get behind the members of JDG, try and find a pick on Yagao or Hope as the fight's starting out. We can already see that lane allocation coming through. Bot lanes in mid and putting soul laners down in the sides. More quickly rotate over to these objectives, especially with Herald coming up so soon. Kind of like the play. No TP on either mid laner, though. So Forge potentially has a window to push this out. Maybe even another one, but then it'd be nice to see him start roaming up if AL are looking to contest his objective.
So you know the way... This is a complete non-secular, has nothing to do with the game, by the way, but I'm going to bring it up anyway. You know the way LEC has a year of the duck when they're talking about new duck, and they're trying to hype him up?
Yes.
Why don't we have stuff like that?
We do. I literally ripped them off, and I said year of the mole all of 2020.
You did. But I'm talking about like a good player. Like, sorry, that was too easy.
Hey! My internet will go out again if you don't shut that mouth right now.
It's all right. I'll drop in. I don't know. Like I'll drop in Dom or something like that. I'm sure he's coaching.
You know what? JDG taking Rift Herald 369, getting some good damage on the top turret. But look at anyone's legends. They equalized in bot lane. They took one turret themselves. Now looking to make a play on mid.
Yeah, they are looking for the Yagao play, but not quite able to make that one. Not able to make that one stick right now, but it is pressure nonetheless. It will be traded back up in topside though, because 369 gets himself a free lane, and we are just waiting really for these next big objectives to spawn, which is going to be the Dragon in 30 seconds. I feel like if JDG are able to get that, they're not quite able. They're not going to be able. Or sorry, if JDG can get it, they are going to be able to put themselves into a very good position to try and just force fights on their terms.
I'm also just really surprised, like, that AL were looking to give all of that up so JDG can do exactly what you're saying, right? I mean, they opted into taking bot lane turret. It gave topside turret over to JDG, also a Rift Herald. Now, I mean, at least they're on the map first because they did make that play bot first so they can move into river, keep controlling vision where they already have wards down and prevent JDG from coming in. But once JDG come back on the map, I mean, they had a lot of gold in pocket. They should be looking incredibly strong right now. So we can see Hex Drinker now picked up for Kanavi. Hope getting incredibly close to that Phantom Dancer.
Some great PP wards coming out here, but I was going to say, JDG puts himself in a position to be able to be there for the fight. It's not a bad call, but there was a great ward just behind JDG there where they could have maybe looked for a flank, but maybe he was afraid it was going to be pushed back. Nonetheless, AL will secure themselves. The Drake, Rift Herald will get dropped down in mid lane. And that might be a tier 2 because you don't have the inside line right now, and 369 is going to be hitting his mega very, very soon, so they can keep them all here. AL, the fight's done. You got the objective. You need to leave.
Yeah, this honestly could be another charge, and maybe even an inhibitor turret for JDG. They're going to be a little bit cautious now, but no. They're still trying to threaten. They're still trying to posture, so AL can't go.
Yeah, hopes are to keep pushing on the bottom left there as we can see a massive Gnar ultimate from 369. It's just to delay everybody now. It's a 5v4, but look at these health bars. They're so low. The Gwen is dead, and finally Hope has come into this fight as he really starts to put down these health bars. AL got the dragon, and then they were in choice paralysis, Lyric. They just said, this was too easy. We can't just let this one go. The last auto attack lands on the Forge. AL, it's crumbled for them.
I mean, Rift Herald might even get the inhibitor. You can see it's still going right now. Chocho now taking down JDG. My God, completely making them run around. It did. It took the inhibitor. It's going to get another charge. No.
Oh, Lord. Shelly, is that going to be the inhibitor? Or no, it's not quite because they're able to kind of move the minions' focus over. But that is very little. Not even 100 HP. It will regen a little bit, but not a significant amount. That's heartbreaking for AL. They made the right call. They got the right decision. They got the right result. And then they just didn't know what to do with themselves. They just kind of said, right, we should have fought. We're going to fight anyway.
It's now been like 2 rotations in a row that JDG have outmaneuvered them. We're kind of coming into this late just for the brunt of the fight. But ZDZ goes in, 369, amazing flash over, get numerous people knocked back into that wall, allows for the damage to come out from Yagao and Kanavi to find the initial kill, and then just keep running them down. They have enough dashes, Spear Rush comes out, just kind of playing on the edge of the fight to get the damage down, but really felt like the brunt of the work was one down to the call from JDG, right? I feel like the call was actually much more impressive than the fight itself, but then 369 seeing that perfect opportunity to flash in with that ultimate.
And now, out of nowhere, 4,000 gold lead. JDG have pure power across the map. Yes, the Zeri's going to get a lot of work into the mid lane because you did take the inhibitor, but this is the thing I always kind of say. Like, yes, taking an early inhibitor can lead to more resources going over to the enemy team, but it's what you use with that time. It's what you use with that pressure. And right now, you're just trading across the map because you know that you're just going to be stronger in a fight like this. You know you've got pressure. Look at the minions. They're going to take that tier 2. They're going to take that Nexus turret if they're left for too long.
That's the thing, right? JDG's not one of these teams that's going to sit and watch. As 369 should be able to get out of here. But yeah, JDG's not one of these teams that's going to, like, just let you farm those super minions, right? We can already see them trying to force around that bot side, take more turrets, and kind of constantly make you weave between 2 lanes. As 369 feeling incredibly confident now to run ZDZ down.
ZDZ doesn't have a huge amount of mana right now. You will see them kind of pushing forward. Red Bull has run out for 369, but it's kind of just a really nice kiting right now. And oh, he's going to have a hop. He's going to have a boomerang in 2, 1. No, the immunity is too good, but he's still pushing forward because he knows how powerful he can be. Keeps fighting. It's a dance. It's a duking and a ducking right now as ZDZ gets hit by a house and he still survives.
Forge is here.
Forge is here. Welcome to the new challengers. 369 now finding himself between a rock and a hard place, but he's got his ultimate. As 369 says, bring your most worthy of challengers. I will fall, but the rest of your base will die because they've just out-macroed them again, Lyric.
369 fighting everyone, like you said, taking them on one by one. Gets to the point needing pretty much 3 members committed to take him down. But another turret goes down for JDG. It feels like it sets up so easily for JDG to look for the rinse and repeat if they want to just open up that inhib as well. Dragging up in 1 minute, so you assume probably still gonna want to like stay in the proximity of mid to be able to contest Dragon once that one's up, but start clearing out some of AL's vision around topside first, and just make sure they can't go for any kind of like cheeky Baron baits themselves.
I mean, this is just so good from JDG. Like, they're just forcing AL into bad decisions. They're just forcing these really odd setups from the side of AL, and JDG are capitalizing, saying, cool, if you don't deal with this top side, 1, you probably get ZDZ die or lose a tier 2 at minimum, but at the same time, you're also losing bot side. You can't really engage because of the inhibitor in mid lane. There's so many little things that JDG are saying, cool, we have all these advantages. You have to make a call, and regardless of whichever one you choose, you're probably going to lose something.
We need to remember, JDG want the 2-0 desperately. If they get the 2-0 and then RNG drops the game, they will be able to get that top 2 spot and get the bye all the way to double elim. And for AL, I mean, if they can bring it back and then take a game 3, they will be locked in today. So today's series actually having a ton of importance, but JDG so far, like you've said, just completely outmaneuvering AL.
They really are. And honestly, like, this is great from JDG. We've criticized them Not because of the games, the series they've lost, but the games they've lost. They've got a lot.
Some people were non-believers, Ashin.
Some people were. No, well, I might have some recordings that say differently. But we're gonna maybe have another fight here. As you've got 369 just off to the side, taking the dragon. There's a TP coming in. That's gonna be ZDZ here. This is your final throw. They're trying to see if they can make this one work. 5v4. 369 has actually got no HP to even join this one. Kanavi flashes away, and there's the needlework as ZDZ tries to make this one work for his team. The Crescent Guard's going to provide them a lot of time as we can get the exhaust coming down to the forward, so he's completely away from this fight. They finally take down the jungler, but here comes 369. He flashes in and lands onto 2 of them. But like I just said, he was coming into this fight with literally 0 HP. Hope flashes away, but Hope is no more as AL finally pull the trigger, and it looks like JDG got just a little bit too greedy.
Yeah, JDG trying to play for both sides of the map. Opens up for the TP to come out from the ZDZ. 369 finds a great ultimate, but one member's already down. Your other members are being forced away by Xiaohao. It was messy, and AL find an avenue back into the game.
Find their way in, and honestly, like, again, you kind of look at this TP. It's a great TP coming in from ZDZ, and AL just kind of say, all right, now you're taking the piss. We need to try and punish you right now because there's no way you should get away with taking Dragon as well as pushing 4v5 on top.
Yeah, JDG trying to have their cake and eat it too. Kanavi buys a lot of time with the ultimate, but still, you have 5 members in. Forge was forced out away, but now Yagao forced to flash. Hope being taken away. 369 finds a beautiful ultimate, but damage wasn't close enough to be able to capitalize. Hope finally gets in range, which kind of just puts him in harm's way. The ult in opening for 369 kind of baits him in, and then Yagao has a lot of threat down. Had a skill shot or 2 hit, he could have picked up a few kills himself, but doesn't in the end.
Yeah, and brings the goal back just a little bit. 3,000 now only is the lead for JDG, and they're not quite close to a soul point just yet. Getting that single Drake will help them out quite a bit, but gotta be wary. This Gwen is getting pretty big right now. When we start to get a little bit scared, we start to get a little bit shaky. It was looking so great from the side of JDG. It still is looking great. They've got the base open on 2 lanes. They basically just have to walk up and take the inhibitors whenever they can. But for AL, they are scaling. The Zeri is getting big. You're nearly onto an Infinity Edge here. You actually have Yagao TPing
we don't
onto
stop.
the side. Yeah, I mean, it's JDG, man. What did you expect? They win fast, they lose fast.
They do, and yeah, this one's definitely getting tense. Like you're saying, AL definitely having a lot of damage as this game goes on. And Hope was the one who had a sizable advantage over his counterpart before. Now it's pretty negligible. Just the pickaxe difference between the 80 carries. So Betty gonna be feeling like he's at the full force of his strength. As observers want to show, the repeat play is possible. Forge is the one with his TP, but JDG not gonna present the same opportunity this time around. Looks like JDG might just be more comfortable kind of waiting for that next dragon to come up. Hope does have his IE now, so this is a pretty sizable spike where if JDG find a fight, that could be the difference maker.
It could be. You are at a very, very big power spike here for the Sivir, like you mentioned, but I'm gonna need JDG to think about stuff right now. They're being a little bit disrespectful to AL. AL still a very, very solid team in our playoff picture. Not quite confirmed
I love it.
for playoff.
I love it, Ashin.
But they're going for it. They're going for it. They're going to try and keep pushing the narrative. Honestly, AL are nowhere near this, and AL are not going to get here on time.
No, and they're even like playing very reserved. Like they're coming in slowly. They're afraid of a pick potential being here, and that fear is enough for JDG to get a Baron.
It's enough for them to get a Baron and maybe even a fight afterwards. We're going to see the Charm land down there as well. They're going to see Forge going to go straight back to his clone. He's got nowhere to go though as the Gwen is dead. That was really your win condition right now. As I say that, Betty trying to do as much as he possibly can. We can see now Cho taking a lot of harassment as the Charm did land onto him. Nobody else will go down, but JDG, they're ramping up and they're feeling good.
JDG now going to try and take everything away, steal these camps in the jungle, already get a push going in mid. You probably want to send 369 to deal with this top side and take down this last outer turret.
The ward! The ward! Always be aware of the ward. I don't think that we're going to see a ZDZ or Forge TP, but maybe we will. Actually, you know what? I take that back. We might see a TP, but with that Scryer's Orb being used, Hope is in a lot of trouble, and Hope is dead. So now, we'll see. 369 rolling a bit of a 3 on that one right there, but they do get the kill off of the Cryan right now, so not quite able to survive off of the initial burst. CDZ is TP'd onto the backside of this fight and now looking to try and make this one work. They know he's there. Gwen is being very sneaky. As you can see, Zeri putting down those Qs, just constantly harassing. Tickle, tickle, tickle. You're not really enjoying this one right now as Yagao goes forward, confident, knowing how powerful he is. And they're not going to let the Gwen be a part of this fight. Now with the wild growth down, as I say that, the W is ridiculous. How is this champion not considered broken? Betty gets out after doing all of that particular damage, and Gwen's left all by herself. ZDZ trying to see if he can make this one work with the needlework, but not quite able to do it through the exhaust. Gets shoved right back by 369, and eventually JDG find themselves a fight after the Baron.
I love that once JDG realized the Gwen's coming in on flank, they're like, hey, we need to commit to this 4v4 quickly before it becomes a 5v4, able to start whittling down some of the members of AL, and now going to try and turn that into a Drake. We're going to get to see the exact details of how it all happens. CDZ using the TP. They've already taken down one member. Forge is down as well, but JDG instantly being like, hey, the Gwen coming down behind us. Let's just try and all in on this member. And ZDC kind of making a mistake. He's over the wall, so he has to actually go the longer way around. Opens up for Yagao to use the Spirit Rush in, find another kill instantly, and then leaving ZDZ in a bit of an awkward position.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of said, as you said, he's over the wall, and then with Betty basically being out of the fight as well, he's just 30 seconds too late, which means the side of JDG can turn onto him. They can take away that fight, and they know exactly where they're going to be going with this one here. So really well played by JDG. Again, it's still scrappy, but 7,000 gold is still a pretty damn good place to be. They're going to try and put pressure now down in mid and in bot to try and take away these inhibitors. But you are looking at 3 items on the Zeri. You're looking towards a 3-item Gwen as well very shortly, and Baron's going to be stopped now in 4 or 5 seconds.
Yeah, even Xiaohao now getting quite beaten on this Trundle. We're going to be a little bit annoying to deal with, but Kanavi doesn't care.
Kanavi does not care. Kanavi wants to kill off Xiaohao, but Subjugate alongside the wall growth keep him nice and safe. They get the mid lane inhibitor as they keep pushing forward. The bot lane is not really long for this world either, so you're going to have 2 super minions coming in. They're going to put the immunity up for ZDZ, so he's not going to have those resistances for the fight. Flash in, they land the stun, and they're going to try and take down this Gwen. They know it's the only real big problem they have left, and he is dead. Now with the inhibitor down and the minions pushing in on that Nexus turret, you can see the extra damage that was done earlier today is coming back to haunt AL, as they went through choice paralysis earlier, and now they're not giving any choice at all. Betty has to flash after getting charged, and JDG looking like they're going to be able to take themselves a 2-0. They're going to try and pad the stats just a little bit more, but with the death of Gnar, they take their win, and they are going to end the split at 14-2.
I like that Kanavi's like, guys, I am not letting you pad your stats. Just go straight to the Nexus and starts hitting it in the end. And like I said, JDG, I mean, there we go. That was their regular season. They are now done, 14-2, sitting in a pretty solid spot. I mean, V5 not able to catch them. Only RNG realistically is the team that could look to match. And heck, JDG theoretically can even make their way up to first with the fact that Top Esports still have 2 series left to go. So JDG sitting pretty, looking like strong contenders heading into playoffs. They have great games like Game 1. They have games like Game 2 where it's like, okay, boys, calm down, put on some chiller music. Maybe, you know, My Heart Will Go On by Celine Dion, you know, near, far, that one. And, you know, just vibe a little bit and, you know, take it smooth to a nice ending.
Honestly, I think that's the best way I can just vibe. Is just what JDG are, a vibe. They are just so
They actually are.
They are such a vibe, man. I don't even know how to describe it. They are just like, so good.
Like, I could just see it, right? Hey, Oisin, how you doing today? I'm doing pretty JDG. You know,
I'm you know,
I'm
me too. Yeah, it's like, yeah, man, I'm just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks, you know?
Yeah.
Seeing what happens.
And, you know,
but go on.
And almost everything's sticking. Almost everything. It all works.
It does. You know, you're a vibe. You're throwing stuff at the wall and you're seeing what sticks, but at the same time, as I said, it's all sticking, so you're feeling good. The vibe is still going. You're just chucking it out and seeing what happens, and all what's happening is good times. But we'll see if those good times continue on. Of course, JDG now finishing off at 14-2. They have put themselves in a great position to get them into the top 2. It isn't really in their hands as of right now. They give themselves a great shot, but because they did lose the head-to-head to RNG, and RNG are only 4 games behind them in the game difference, it literally comes down to that head-to-head, which is absurd when you think about it. 1 game is probably going to be the difference between getting yourself immediately into double limb and having to go through the gauntlet.
I mean, again, they're going to be kicking themselves. What they're going to be doing right now is they're going to be like, hey, TT, let us scrim you. And they're going to be like trying to train TT
for
up
sure,
into
for
these
sure.
crazy like world contenders. And then TT will take down RNG for them, and then they'll high five them, and they'll all go eat hot dogs.
And everyone clapped.
Except RNG.
Except RNG and RNG fans. But yeah, great from JDG. I will say, even though AL did lose 2-0, I still liked a lot what we saw from in terms of the play we saw them specifically in the second game. I think they were able to slow down a lot of what JDG were kind of going for. Eventually, the dam did just become overfilled, though, and it just became too much to handle. But the ideas were there, a little bit more polish on the execution. And again, I still think this is a very solid potential playoff team with only a week left to play. They still need a win, preferably, but definitely feeling good if they can make it into playoffs.
I mean, heck, for AL, right, the early game was solid. It was only in that mid game where we saw them kind of making these decisions, trading down against JDG. It's like, okay, commit to bot side. Don't even want to contend for the Herald. Give that over to JDG. JDG also get a top lane turret. The one player on Dragon where like you were saying, they get on Dragon first, but JDG have Herald. JDG just go mid, and then AL look kind of flustered about, well, what do we do? Like, do we want to fight? Do we not want to fight? Do we just recall and try and stop the push? And that one choice just made them, they regret that massively, right? Instantly ballooned into like a 3-4K gold lead for JDG.
Sorry, I'm doing some maths, okay? Doing some maths in my head. So top esports play against, say against V5 on Tuesday, which we know randomly will happen, and then they play AL. So AL have an opportunity to maybe get their win off of that. Maybe, we'll see. But if top esports lose both of those games 0-2, and RNG win their final two games 2-0, how does that work? Because then we end in a rock, paper, scissors of JDG beating top beating RNG, and RNG beating JDG. Who's our top three then?
You know, I don't know, but I want us to be there.
I want to be there.
You know, we just had another bracket in the double elim.
Sorry, let me just like read. By the way, all top esports have to do is lose that game against V5. Oh, their game difference is still fine. Top esports are okay. Never mind. It would have to be that, but then we'd end up with that kind of thing. My maths was off. If top esports do lose, though, we could end up with 14-2, 14-2, 14-2, which would be kind of high. I don't know why I said it like that.
So all we've learned from this thought experiment is that Sheen
is bad at maths. That's another thing that separates us. You say math, I say maths. You know, we had an S at the end.
I think maths sounds much cooler, if I'm being honest. But my God, look at how hard Betty tried. 40% of his team's damage. But then again, right, 40% of his team's damage might not mean much if there was not much damage done.